From community outreach, court tours to annual law mooting competitions for law students across the region, the Caribbean Court of Justice, CCJ, has definitely stamped its mark across the Caribbean. Thanks for joining us for the final edition of a three-part series on the CCJ. This week, as promised, we look at its progress since its installation, examine Jamaica's position on using the CCJ as our final court of appeal, and look to the future. Seven years have passed since the inauguration of the CCJ, and since then, the court has ruled in several cases, making landmark decisions. Speaking with journalists from across the region, President Sir Charles Byron was only too proud to outline some of the achievements of the court.
In statistical terms, 12 matters have been filed. In our appellate jurisdiction, between July 2005 and June 2012, 94 matters have been filed. The number of senior counsel appearing before the CCJ in these matters has been 45, and the number of junior counsel 130. The number of appeals indicate beyond doubt that there has been an increase in appeals to the final court.
In addition to the growing number of appeals, it is also believed that the court has impacted the rulings of other judges across the region. CARICOM member states have also responded well to the CCJ.
I think they're very happy with it. Guyana in particular has had particular benefits from the CCJ because they had left the Privy Council years ago, but they didn't have a court of appeal beyond their local court of appeal. And I know, for example, in property matters and land matters, there have been a number of appeals from Guyana to the CCJ which have put their law on a clear footing because there were a lot of confusion which has been sorted out by the CCJ.
With a promising future ahead, it's hoped that most, if not all, the CARICOM member states that signed the original CCJ agreement will use it as their final appellate court. But what of Jamaica?
We have prepared the legislation to adopt the CCJ as our final court. It was tabled in Parliament in July as part of the Jamaica 50 effort, and it will be debated in the House of Representatives probably in November. There's a 3-month process before, at the end of which they vote on it. So it's really a 6-month process in the House of Representatives, and it comes to the Senate. So it should come to the Senate in the first quarter of 2013.
So what's required for Jamaica to adopt the CCJ as its final court of appeal? Will a referendum be necessary?
A referendum is required where you are amending what's called a deeply entrenched provision of the Constitution. The provision that deals with the Privy Council is not entrenched at all, actually, because it was always envisaged that Jamaica would one day no longer adhere to the colonial court. Many countries of the former British Empire have adopted their own final court and left the Privy Council. None have had a referendum, including countries such as New Zealand and Canada. The only one that has had a referendum is St. Vincent. And the reason there was because their constitution specifically required it. We don't want to politicize the CCJ issue. We think it's an issue that should be done by consensus. And as part of repatriating our sovereignty, bringing our sovereignty home from London, as a nation that's 50 years old.
Senator Golding adds that a referendum can be costly. The country could spend about $700 million to hold one. A 2/3 majority vote in the House is all that's required. It's true that the CCJ has a long way to go, but already there are high expectations.
I see the CCJ becoming an integral institution for the region, ensuring that the attempts to integrate from a trade and economic perspective is done in a cohesive and balanced way.
But for now, CCJ President Sir Charles Byron will be satisfied as long as the court continues to prove its worth.
The most important thing for me would be for the court to assist in ensuring that there are generally accepted performance standards throughout our region. The first one has to do with the timeliness of case delivery. Throughout our region, I think that's the #1 complaint that I've come across, that cases stay in the system for too long. And I think that as a final Court of Appeal, we are very interested in trying to see this improved.
And that's where we leave you on Get the Facts. For more information on the CCJ, visit CaribbeanCourtOfJustice.org. The CCJ, your people, your region, your court. Thanks for watching.